So in the last lecture, we have discussed different types of maintenance, and we have discussed the planned maintenance and unplanned maintenance and their variety of maintenance in that planned maintenance also and unplanned maintenance also. Further, we have discussed the total productive maintenance TPM, and in the today's lecture we will discuss about this slide maintenance performance evaluation, and further we have discussed the reliability and life testing. Okay, so maintenance performance evaluation, why it is required? We need to understand that the lead time in a production will be unavoidable thing on the shop floor. So for that purpose, we have to understand the performance of a production system, and we have to understand the performance of a maintenance system also. So first parameter is total plant maintenance productivity. Okay, total plant maintenance productivity. So in the short form, it is called as TPMP. Okay, TPMP, total plant maintenance productivity. So TPMP will be given as plant output in a given period. Okay, for if you consider the 1 month time period, or 15 days time period, or 1 week time period. So accordingly, so how much output you are getting for the particular time period. So that will be the plant output in the given time period, and how much cost you have beared for the maintenance purpose. So total cost, total maintenance cost in the given time period. So TPMP, that is total plant maintenance productivity, is the ratio of the plant output in the given time period to the total maintenance cost in the given period. Okay, so side by side you can write on these formulas. Then second one is downtime index. Okay, how much downtime is there? So this downtime should be very less, okay, in the industry, or the industry persons or the production department and maintenance department try to reduce this downtime index. So downtime index is the ratio of downtime in hours and production hours multiplied by 100. Okay, so downtime will be we have to consider it as undesirable thing in the industry. So here everyone tries to reduce this downtime, and everyone want to produce the increase the production hours. So downtime index is the undesirable thing, and everyone tries to reduce this downtime index. So downtime index will be the ratio of downtime hours divided by production hours multiplied by 100. Then maintenance cost index. So it will showcase how much percentage of a cost, or how much percentage of a capital has been used or spended over the maintenance. So maintenance cost index will be given as a maintenance cost divided by capital cost, or total capital cost investment multiplied by 100. Okay, so maintenance cost index also desired to be lower one. Okay, so that will showcase the cost on a maintenance or investment or spending on a maintenance is at minimum level. Okay, so maintenance cost index will be given as maintenance cost divided by capital cost multiplied by 100. Then next one is the equipment utilization. So utilization, we know that how much effectively the design capacity of that particular system is used. So that is nothing but utilization. So equipment utilization will be given as hours the equipment run at a capacity or full capacity, and hours the equipment was unavailable to run at a capacity during the evaluation period. Okay, so consider the time period, particular time period, 1 day time period or 1 hour time period. So during that evaluation time period, how much hours that particular equipment run full with a full capacity. Okay, with a full capacity, and how much hours that uh, equipment is not available, or it was not run with a full capacity. Okay, so that will be considered as a equipment utilization. Now this equipment utilization should be higher one. Okay, because the hours the equipment run at a capacity means that should be the higher one, or we can say that numerator should be the highest one or greater one than the we can say that the denominator side. So this value you will get more than 1 or if you can calculate this in a percentage, then it should be more than 100%. Okay, or here we can say that it should be greater than 1 only, so that the utilization should be greater than 1. Then manpower efficiency. Okay, how to calculate the manpower efficiency? So it will be calculated as the ratio of a total man hours actually worked on the job and to the total man hours scheduled for this job. Okay, so actually कितना work manpower ने किया है और कितना schedule किया है, so that will be that will showcase the manpower efficiency. Okay, so let us consider you have assigned uh, uh, 10 hours manpower to perform a particular task, and the manpower or worker consumed the 11 hours on that particular job to complete that job. So it will be 11 divided by 10. Okay, 11 divided by 10. Okay, so that will considered as manpower efficiency. Manpower efficiency. Okay, getting everyone? Now next point is the reliability. Okay, understand this reliability concept very well, because it will be useful in most of the manufacturing industry also and the service provided industries also. How one product is reliable, so that will be determination of that thing, it's considered to be a reliability. Okay, so to find out this reliability factor, the tests are conducted, various tests are conducted, and that will be determined. Okay, so reliability also cope up with the safety factor, how much safe that particular product. So with safety, the reliability comes in the picture. Okay, with the safety, that reliability also comes in the picture. So let us consider one of the product. Let us consider your pen. Okay, so that particular pen performing particular task. Okay, that is nothing but writing task without doing any malfunctioning, or without doing any failure, that pen will perform for longer time period. Let us consider 1 month time period, 2 month time period, 3 month time period. So that pen will be considered as, on that pen you will trust more, and in the examination also you will use that particular pen only. Okay, because you are trusting, your trust is built up over that particular product, and so that during the critical time period also you are using that particular product. Okay, so that is the concept of a reliability. So we are more reliable on a product that are trustworthy. Okay, more reliable on a product that are trustworthy, and it is the point of view of a customer to think about the product also. Okay, so let us take the example of a Chinese product. Whether you are having that much trust on a Chinese product, or whether you are having more trust on a Japanese product. So Japanese product having the good quality and they are more reliable, whereas the Chinese product are having the bad quality also, and they looks good, but their aesthetic look is very much good, but they are not that much reliable. Within one or that within 1 to 2 time use, that they get failed. So Chinese product are not that much reliable. Okay, or not that much trustworthy. So here the reliability concept with how much duration of a time period that particular product performing its task with its full capacity. Okay, so that is nothing but a reliability. So it is also now the product will get failed. Okay, or it will not perform that task, so that will be because of anything fault happen in the functionality of that particular product. Okay, it is happen because of a fault happen in that particular product due to some unfunctionality, or that particular product will not perform the desired task for the given time period, or it will fail during the working time hour. Okay, so that is unexpected thing which is happen about the product. Okay, and that unexpected faults have been happening during the working time period or during the its lifetime, that faults will be considered as a failure. Okay, and here in the reliability, the concept is related to the failure only. Okay, so here in the reliability, the industries tries to understand why the products are getting failed and how to reduce that failure in the design phase only. Okay, and for that purpose this reliability concept is more important. Okay, so reliability is the ability of an item to perform its intended function understated operating condition for a given time period, for a given period of a time. Okay, so this is the definition of a reliability, and it is also associated with the unexpected failure of a product or a services, and understanding why this failure occurs is key to improving the reliability. Okay, now take the example of cars or bikes. So crash tests are performed. Okay, crash tests are performed. So these tests are mostly related to the safety of the driver or safety of the people who those are going to use that particular car or that particular bike. Okay, and how much damage will happen to the person who is going to drive that car, how much damage will be happen to the person who is going to sit in that particular car. So that determination. Okay, and what are the specifications that we need to focus on, so that the car rating or reliability rating will goes on increasing. For that purpose, this reliability testing is very much important. Okay, this reliability testing is very much important. So here, to understand the reliability, we need to understand why failure is occurs. Okay, failure is nothing but that particular item. If that product is failed during its working lifespan, then that will be considered as that product is not that much reliable, or that product is unreliable. Okay, so here, to understand the reliability, we need to understand the failure. Okay, so what is meant by failure? If you consider that product is should perform a specific task without any deviation in its specification, or without its deviation in its functionality, and if that deviation comes, okay, or their property deviation comes, so we can say that there is a fault in that particular product. Let us consider that one of the thermometer, and you are comparing two thermometer, one of the standard thermometer and one of the new thermometer comes in the market, and you check the temperature of a body by using that two thermometers, and you'll get some amount of a deviation in that two thermometers. So on which thermometer you will be more reliable? So let us consider once again the another one thermometer, and which is the standard one. Okay, and you compare these two thermometers which are having the deviations with that particular thermometer, and you come to know that one of the thermometer is faulty, so that thermometer is not showcasing the proper temperature. So that is nothing but what, there is a functional deviation of that particular product. Okay, the functional deviation of that particular product from its properties. Okay, so that functional deviation will be considered as a fault. Okay, and the state of fault denotes the failure. Okay, the state of fault denotes the failure. So the any of the product will be considered as a failed product, or it will be considered as a failure of that particular product under some conditions. So if that particular product is completely inoperable, so then we can say that that particular product is failed. Okay, or it is operable but not performing the required function. Okay, then also we are considering to be the that particular product is failed. And when serious deterioration makes the items unsafe for the continuous use, some problems like let's consider one of the furnace. Okay, now that furnace is completed its lifespan, and no one want to give the guarantee related to the functionality of that particular furnace in the industry. So in that case, the deterioration life of that particular furnace or that particular product is completed. Okay, lifespan of the working lifespan of that particular product, or we can say that the warranty period is completed. Now no one will provide you warranty or guarantee related to that particular product. Now here, that product is unsafe for the worker who are going to work on that particular furnace. So here, this life, if the guarantee or warranty period or the working lifespan of that particular period will be completed, so that is nothing but deterioration of that product is happen, and continuous basis that particular product is showing the malfunctioning in their functionals, or they're not performing their task properly, and these products are unsafe for the workers who are going to work on that particular product. So here that product is also considered to be a failed product when there is a serious deterioration or one of the product is not safe for the use. Okay, so these are some of the reasons for the failed products. Okay, now what are the different causes related to failure? Okay, so if the product is a simpler one, or a system of that particular product is some simpler one, so in that case it is very much easy to understand the failure reason. But sometimes very complex systems of the products are there, so in that case also we are unable to determine the causes of a failure. So some of the causes of a failures are listed over here. Some failed because of there is some fault in the design. Okay, some failed because of inappropriate material selection or manufacturing technique selection for the production purpose. Some are failed because of there is some errors during the assembly of the products. Some are failed due to the inappropriate service conditions are there, like you are not providing proper oiling or greasing, or you are not performing the servicing of that particular product. Because of that also the products will get failed. Then some are failed because of the human errors. Okay, so damage happened to the products. Let us consider that during the traveling. Okay, you are traveling, let us take the example of a bulb. Okay, you are traveling by taking the bulb, and we can say that other name. Okay, it stuck with any hard product, and it will get damaged. So the bulb will not work properly. Okay, so that will be the human errors. Okay, sometimes you are performing one task, and during that task some problems are happen because of you only, and the functionality will or the product will not work properly with its appropriate functions. So that will be considered as a human error. And then inadequate maintenance. So if you are not providing the proper maintenance as per the requirement to the product, then the product will not complete its life cycle, and it will fail before the working time or expected life cycle. Okay, so these are some of the causes of a failure in any of the product. Then how to measure this failure? Okay, so how to measure the different kinds of a failure, or we can say that here measures of a failure, or we also consider it as a measures of a reliability. Okay, measures of a reliability. So by using two methodologies, we can measure the reliability, or we can measure the failure, and we can measure the reliability on that basis. One is nothing but the product bathtub curve, and second is nothing but FMEA. Okay, product bathtub curve, and second one is FMEA, failure mode analysis. Okay, so by using that two things, we can measure the failure. Okay, so here the phases of failure are showcased in a bathtub curve. Okay, so let us understand this bathtub curve. So initially, if you consider on x-axis, this is the time period. Okay, and on a y-axis we are going to consider the failure rate. Okay, and this curve showcasing the it looks like a bathtub. Okay, this curve looks like a bathtub, and this showcasing the failure rate with respect to time period of or the lifespan of that particular product. So here, this is the initial stage, or we can consider that design stage or a manufacturing phase. So during the initial stage, during the initial time period of a product, most of the products are get failed. Okay, so during the design or during the prototyping of that particular product, the product will get failed. Okay, and redesigning will comes in the picture, or changing the material will like that concept will comes in the picture. product life cycle determination concepts comes in the picture. And here the product failure rate will be the higher one. Okay, product failure rate will be the higher one. Now if the product will sustain during this early failure, during the failure of early time period of working time period of that particular product, if that particular product will sustain during the design phase, during the prototyping phase, during the manufacturing phase, and the further test, whatever the required test need to carry it out to check the reliability of that particular product. So if the product will sustain during that particular test, then the next useful phase, that particular product will be delivered to the customer. Okay, the product will be delivered to the customer. Now this useful life, that will be considered that during that particular period the failure rate is very less. Okay, and if if the product will fail during its working time period or useful life time period, so that failure will be considered as a catastrophic failure. Okay, if the product is failed during the its useful life, then that failure will be considered to be a catastrophic failure. Okay, so there are different reasons to fail the product during the during the useful life. Like we have considered that there are some design problem, or there may be some material problem, or there may be some human errors, and because of that these products are failed. And during the useful life, if this product is failed, then that failure will be considered to be a catastrophic failure. Now after completion of useful life, or we can say that if the companies are providing the warranty period or guarantee period for the particular time period, okay, for 1 hour or 1-2 hours time period, so that will be considered as a useful life for that particular product. Okay, and after completion of a useful life, the product will get deteriorate. Okay, product will get deteriorate, or its part will get deteriorate. And deterioration means what? We can say that some parts will get specifications will get changed. Okay, due to the high temperature or due to the continuous use. Okay, that wear out. Okay, wear out means size कमी होने. Okay, किंवा size वाढणे. So that will be considered as a expansion, or we can say that reduction in the size of the specification, or the standard size of that particular product. So because of that the products are get failed. Okay, and that if that failure will happen after the useful life, then that failure will be considered to be wear out failure. Then that failure will be considered as to be wear out failure. And if the when the useful life is over, now here you can say that this curve is the rate of failure will get increased exponentially. The rate of failure will get increased exponentially. Okay, so getting everyone, what is meant by early failure, what is meant by catastrophic failure, and what is meant by wear out failure. Now this curve, you can see that this is the failure curve. Okay, this curve is showcasing the failure rate of the product. Okay, particular product. Now this curve is looks like a bathtub, and so that it will called as a bathtub curve. Okay, it will called as a bathtub curve. Getting everyone? Now the second thing is nothing but failure mode effect analysis. Okay, that is nothing but FMEA. So this FMEA is nothing but one kind of a factor, and which is calculated as RPM. Okay, which is calculated as RPM, and this RPM is called as a risk priority number. Okay, RPM is called as a risk priority number, and it will be calculated by using three different factors or three different variety of variables. First one is nothing but S, second one is O, and third one is D. So multiplication of all these factors will provide you RPM, that is risk priority number. So here S represent the severity. So severity means how much serious problem is. Okay, how much serious problem is. Then O represent occurrence, means how many times it occurs during the working time or during the functionality time. And D means detectability. Detectability means how easily we can detect it. Okay, so by using three variety of variable, that is SOD, we can calculate RPN. Okay, RPN, and it will relate it to the FMEA, that is failure mode effect analysis. Failure mode effect analysis. Getting everyone. So now, why the reliability is important? As we have discussed earlier, that it showcases the useful life of that particular period in which the product will perform its functions properly, okay, or with a full capacity, or we can say that it will not get failed. So reliability is the ability of one item to perform required function without failure under stated condition for stated period of a time. Okay, now here, once you study the reliability factor or the failure mode analysis of any particular product, then you'll come to know the products are, or the companies or the R&D engineers are come to know that why the products are failed. Okay, and what are the different factors which are leading to fail these particular products. Now during the designing of that particular product, these factors considered, and here the R&D engineers, or we can say that the product development engineers, tries to reduce that lacunas from the product, or if it is not possible to reduce that lacuna, or it is not possible to reduce that uh, 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 specification from the product, then the design engineer or the R&D development engineers tries to communicate that lacuna to the customer. So here they are trying to identify the ways that it will be conveyed to the product. Now you can take the example of a watches. Okay, watches. So some of the watches are waterproof, and some of the watches are not waterproof. Okay, and there they have mentioned that the 30 minutes, the only for the 30 minutes this watch is waterproof. After 30 minutes it will not be waterproof. So that is nothing but what, this is the lacuna of that particular watch, and that cannot be eliminated during the designing phase also, and during the manufacturing phase also. So here the designer tried to convey or try to communicate that lacuna with the customer, that this product will fail if you keep this watch more than 30 minutes in the water. Okay, so this means what, the failure is communicated to its customer. Okay, now here, if that lacuna is not removed out from the product, the designer try to convey, try to communicate that lacuna to its customer. Okay, and the reliability is one of the things that increases the industry value. Okay, the reliability is one of the things that increases the industry value in the market. Okay, how we know that? Now just take the example of a Chinese product which are not reliable. So there is any value for that particular product in the Indian market? No, there is no any value for that particular product in the Indian market. Let us take the Innova company or Innova Industry, which is a Japanese group and which is having lot of experience in the market and manufacturing fantastic cars and SUVs and XUVs, and the company having good reputation worldwide. Okay, that Japanese company, Innova company, is having good reputation in the market, and because of that, the market preferring the the Japanese product more than the Chinese product. And if you take the example of a Ford company is having the highest factor of safety. Okay, or we can say that this Ford company vehicles are more reliable vehicles. So this is the reputation of a company. Okay, if any company, now one incidents happen about the Innova, that one of the batch of a product released in the market in a such a way that there is some problem related to the clutch and brake configuration in that particular vehicle, and because of that or something else like that, I will take the example of clutch and brake. clutch and gear fault is there in that particular model, and one batch is released in the market. A company released that particular batch in the market, and more number of accidents happen from that particular batch. Okay, so Innova, what does Innova company to maintain the, now here the reliability of that particular product will get decreased in the market. Okay, will get decreased in the market. And what does Innova buy back all the products from the customer and pay back to the customer those are lost or those are injured during the accident, and or serious damages happen. So 10 times payback is given to the customer by the Innova company. So to keep the reputation in the market, the reliability is the most important thing for the company. And to increase the reliability of a product, companies performing number of a test, number of a live test, and showcase that test to their customer, that how much reliable our product is. Okay, and it will not fail during its working lifetime, or it will not fail, it will perform its all the task for the longer time period. Okay, so reliability is the quality over time. Okay, quality over time. So once you complete the task, that is not a reliability. Okay, or whether the standards are matched for one time period, so that is not a reliability. So that particular product will maintain the same standards of a functionality for the long time period. Okay, so same standards of a functionality with over a long time period. So that is nothing but a reliability. Okay, so reliability is quality over time. Reliability is quality over time, and it must be maintained, or it must be inculcated in the product during the design phase only. Okay, reliability must be designed into the product or a service so that it will be perform its function for intended time period. It should be perform its function and services for the intended time period. So this is the importance of reliability. Okay, now next thing is reliability live testing. Okay, reliability live testing. Now here live testing, the word itself suggests that it the testing of the product life cycle, that or the product life will be considered as a live testing. Okay, now once again we are going to take the example of vehicle crash test. Okay, vehicle crash test. So that will be the example of reliability life testing. Okay, so here basis objective of reliability life testing is to obtain the information concerning failure in order to express the reliability quantitatively. Okay, to convert. Okay, I'm saying that my product is more reliable, but what is the proof for that, and how much reliable it uh, is that particular product. Now here we know that whenever you are going to purchase any vehicle, four wheeler or two wheeler or anything, okay, in the market, vehicle, about the vehicle, so you can see that there are ratings: 5-star rating, 4-star rating, 3-star rating, 2-star rating, 1-star rating, and the product is having 5-star rating. Such a product will be considered to be a more reliable product. Now to achieve that 5-star rating, okay, so this is the conversion. Okay, quantitative conversion of your product, how much reliable your product is. So and to consider, okay, to achieve that 5-star rating or 3-star rating, you need to, or that company need to perform the specific tests. Okay, perform the specific tests on the product. Okay, like crash test. Okay, crash tests are performed, and on that crash test basis, variety of crash tests are there. So on that crash test basis, that ratings comes into the picture. Okay, that is nothing but express the reliability quantitatively. Okay, express the reliability quantitatively. Okay, so quantitatively means I have just said that the 5-star rating is nothing but expressing the reliability in a quantitative manner. Number diya aapko usne. Okay, so this is the 5-star rating, so highly reliable product. 1-star rating or 0-star rating is more less reliable product. Okay, so to achieve the reliability quantitatively, we need to perform some testings. Okay, and that test is called as a life test. Okay, life test of that particular product. Now here the another we have initially suggested that this reliability and safety goals, okay, or safety, these are two things which are comes or which are the combo packs. Okay, safety and reliability. Okay, they goes in hands on hands. Okay, there comes or their walking style is they are synchronized to each other. In a simple language, they are synchronized to each other. So reliability and safety goals. Now to determine the reliability and safety goals, uh, 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 here you need to perform the live testing. Now sometimes what happen in India, the safety factor is more than their working factor. Or let us consider that in India it is 4 times than the America or the European country. The manufacturer uses 4 times more safety factor than the safety factor that is used in America or in Europe. So that is the thinking level, because we are using that product very rashly. Okay, so we need to maintain or if that product will fail in a early life of that particular product, yeah, so we will not have that much faith on, or will not believe, or will not purchase that same product once again. Okay, so that purpose, and our driving and our use of that particular product is somewhat rush type, or somewhat we can say that negligence type to the proper procedure. Okay, here we are neglecting the proper procedures to use the product. So that purpose, in India the safety factor is more as compared to the European countries, or as compared to the Western countries. Okay, so here this to achieve the proper safety factor and to determine the reliability and to improve the product reliability. Once you understand what is the reliability, then you are able to improve that reliability. Okay, so for that purpose you need to perform the testing. Okay, and that testings will be considered as a reliability life testing. Okay, and what different factors we need to consider while performing this test, these factors are listed over here. First of all, you should know what are the different objectives why you are going to perform that test. Okay, so that objectives should be clear to you. Then which test you are, there are a variety of a test. We are going to see that particular test in this lecture only. So variety of tests are there, but which test is suitable to understand the reliability of a product, that should be known to the person who is going to test that, or who is going to arrange that particular test. Then you need to understand what are different operating conditions, what are different environmental conditions for that particular product, and that conditions need to provide to the product. Okay, and how much number of units you are going to test, and the duration of a test time. Okay, duration means how much time period you are going to test that particular product. Okay, so these factors need to consider while doing any reliability life testing. Okay, so there are various tests. First one is a burn-in test. Okay, so burn-in test is nothing but these tests are carried out, whatever the tests are carried out during the early life of any product. Okay, so that tests are to be called as a burn-in test. Okay, so here the initial equipment time over the tests are conducted. So let us consider that the product is in factory only. Okay, and on that particular product the tests are conducted. Okay, and if that particular product will not achieve the standard performance, okay, if that particular product will not achieve that the standard performance as per the norms or as per the policy of that particular company, then that particular product will be rejected. And those products who will pass this burn-in tests, that particular products are used to sell out, or that particular products are provided to the customer, and those are unable to achieve the standard or failed during this testing time period, unable to survive this testing time period. So that products are once again provided for the rework or for the improvement purpose. Okay, repairing or rework purpose they are providing back to the factory. Okay, so here burn-in tests type of a tests are performed on the all type of products. Okay, these are not a sample testing. This type of a tests are performed on all the products those are manufactured during the stipulated time period. Okay, so here the production lead time will be more, and the cost of that particular testing will be also involved in that particular product, and because of that the costing of a product is also get increased. Okay, so here we need to understand burn-in test means what. Here we have to perform some kinds of a testing in the initial life of that particular product. Okay, initial equipment life hours, and these tests are like a performance oriented test. If that product is withstand for the suitable performance, then we can consider that that particular product is passed through that test, and it will be served to the customer. And if that particular product will not withstand to the standard performance, then that particular product will be revoked from the market, and once again the rework or repairing type of things are performed on that particular product. Now this type of a test are performed on the all the types of products or all products that are going to manufacture during the stipulated time period. Okay, so that will be called as a burn-in testing. Okay, then second type of a testing is acceptance testing and qualification testing. Okay, so as we have discussed during the burn-in time period, we need to perform the burn-in type of testing on the all the types of products. Now here acceptance testing will be based on a sample size. Let us take your mobile. Okay, so whether all the dimensions of that particular products are as per the standard or not. Okay, so that is nothing but yes, if the dimensions are okay. Let us take any product which is manufactured from the CNC machine. So check whether the tolerances or the dimensions is as per the requirement or as per the standard or not. Yes, if it is as per the standard, then the product is accepted. Okay, so that will be considered to be acceptance testing. Qualification testing, here the qualification testing means what. Here all the specifications or performance is determined. Okay, whatever the reliability goals or the specification that are provided for that particular product, whether it is achieving that reliability goals or a specification. So that will be determined from the live testing, and whether that product is achieving all the goals related to the design, performance, and whether it will perform for the suitable environmental condition or not. So that type of a testings are performed, and the product is, if the product is qualified, then that product will be served to the customer. Okay, then accelerated life testing. Now here accelerated life testing means what. Let us take the example of a bearing. Okay, bearings. So bearings are having their own life cycle, or we can say that their lifespan. Okay, we can consider bearings have the lifespan, stipulated lifespan period. So this lifespan is depend upon the stress level which will act on the bearings, and also number of revolutions. Okay, and also number of revolutions. So these two factors are there that will lead to the failure of that particular bearings. Okay, so the accelerated life testing is one type of a testing where the fast testing is done. Okay, so whatever the required conditions are there, okay, to test the reliability. That conditions are applied, okay. Let us consider that if bearing rpms are 1200 meter per second, okay, or rpm, revolutions per minute, okay. So bearing is running with 1200 rpm, revolutions per minute. Now the rpm will get increased, okay, for that particular bearing, and try to understand whether that bearings are withstand to that particular rpm or not. So let us consider that 2400 rpms are provided, 1800, 2000, 5000, 10,000 rpms are provided to that particular bearings, and for the stipulated time period, let us consider for the 1 hour, 2 hour time period, these rpms are provided. If this bearing will withstand to for 2 hours time period for that particular rpm, then it will withstand for the lifespan of that particular bearing, okay. So this is nothing but what? Accelerated life testing, okay. So providing the required conditions to the product with a higher rate, okay, with a higher rate, and trying to understand the reliability of that particular product. Then experimental design. So like we are performing the analysis on simulation type of analysis, various conditions we are providing to the product, and trying to understand what are the different failure modes of that particular products. Or we are calculating the things, okay, like in a design calculation, okay, manufacturing design, in a design, machine design or manufacturing, the different failure modes are there, and what are their formulas. By doing that formulation, we are determining what are the different types of failure things, and where it will be failed, and what are the different types of failure, and what is the specific parameter because of that the product will get failed. So such a experimentation will be carried out, or analysis will be carried out, and that type of a testing will be considered to be experimental design testing. Experimental design testing. And the last one is the reliability growth testing. Now reliability growth testing is a part of a product life cycle. Now we have prepared one initially, you have prepared some initial design, okay, and you have performed the design testing on that particular product, okay. Burn-in testing or experimental testing you have performed. Then you have take the reliability assessment of that particular thing. So how much reliable is that particular product? Then you once again you have done the engineering analysis related to that particular product, and you come to know that because of particular thing, okay, or due to the some design problem, this failure is happening in the product, particular failure is happening in the product. So you are trying to change the design, okay, you are trying to change the design of that particular product, and you want to increase the reliability. So here you are redesigning the product, and once again you are testing that thing, okay. Once again you are taking the reliability assessment, and once again you are doing the engineering analysis. Now one of the product is for long time period in the market, okay. One of the product is for the long time period in the market, and as the time passes, you come to know that there are some problems in the design, or there are some problems related to failure of a product in a certain condition. Then you are working on that failure front, and trying to eliminate the design problems of that particular product, and you are once again testing that thing. So that will be considered to the reliability growth testing. That will be considered to be the reliability growth testing, okay. Getting everyone? Is there any question, any doubt in this points, reliability and live testing? Is there any question, any doubt whether you understood all the things, what is meant by reliability and live testing? Is there any doubt, any question? Okay, these two concepts are more important, okay. And also in the from this chapter, the types of maintenance and procedure for preventive maintenance, then total productive maintenance, and reliability. Okay, reliability and life testing. These points are important one. Uh, okay, and try to understood these points. If you have any doubt, any question, you can ask. I will provide you 2 minutes because the chapter is over. This chapter number 6 is over. Is there any doubt, any question from this chapter? If not, then you can put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave. Okay. Okay, if you don't have any question, any doubt, you can put up. You can put up your roll numbers in the chat box. I'm going to close this meeting.